Yo, yo, yo. What's good? What's good? It's Stormy B Man, and I am back. Welcoming you to Nerds on Culture with Stormy B Man for this Monday, April 13th, 2026. This is number 159 in the series of Nerds broadcast, and as we come to you this evening, we have a subject that we hope that everyone can kind of take part in, where we are going to talk favorite movie series. It could be films that you found to have multiple chapters, trilogies, film series, something that just had a outstanding sequel or something like that, but it brought you to the film subject, the characters involved more than one time. You had to see these characters again. And so we're going to talk about that a little bit this evening. It's an opportunity. Some of you can drop in the chat some of your favorite film series, because people are always looking for something to be entertained when it comes down to that. So you have to know that when you can't see everything, recommendations come in and they kind of help fill a void and a gap. So that's something that we want to kind of focus on this evening. And as we, get into having a conversation on this subject, we will be moving over to Rumble so that we can give a full expose on our composition for this show for this evening. So with that being said, allow me to introduce my co-host of the show in the building this evening. We got Drew Titan. What's going on with you, bro? How you doing this evening?
Doing good. As I informed you of the work schedule change.
Yeah.
Going through some changes, but getting acclimated. But we're here. We're here today. We're gonna do the show. I was looking forward to this because there was one name that came to mind when you said this is the style of show we're doing today. This is the topic. So, we're gonna get down to it. Yes, sir.
Yeah. And so, I had the luxury and fortune of, when I was small, my dad liked the movies, and it was like an escape for him. Being a very much a blue collar worker, he looked forward to spending his downtime in being entertained. I mean, he liked the old sword and sandal flicks with like Charleston Heston and Martin Sheen and guys like that, and I said Martin Sheen, I mean Kirk Douglas. I'm sorry. Yeah, Kirk Douglas. I get those guys kind of mixed up because they're men who got sons who are in the business.
Sons.
Yeah. So forgive me for that, but yeah, and also the gangster movies, westerns. Westerns was his favorite, and it's no wonder that I've kind of taken up that with westerns myself. But I'm a movie buff. I like sci-fi. I like, I guess I'm not big on those rom-coms and those sappy love movies and stuff. Like, I don't like that kind of stuff. But it doesn't have to be all action. It's just a good story being told. You know what I mean? So to be entertained, So, but yeah, that's where I am with that. And like I said, being introduced to it early at a young age, I just kept with it, even as I got older and got into other things like sports and things like that. But it was always something to fall back on. Just like, we talked about on this show, the cultural arts of music, the variety. That's a wonderful thing too, to be able to have that in your life. And that's kind of what's missing today, Drew and Chad, with young people. They haven't been focused in and channeled towards something for self-cultivation, and there's an empty space there. There's a lack of connection to anything.
Well, I think that how we grew up, the good habits that we grew up with, something simple like watching a television show or movies. There were more things that were family relatable, like the things we talk about on this show. It takes me back to a point in my life where I used to sit down every Friday night, Thursday night, and it brought families together. It's like, not only do you remember these shows, but it takes you back to a point of life. Okay, I used to remember, like, for example, I remember when Knight Rider came out, a talking car and a hero. It was the coolest thing in the world. And it came on out here. I believe Knight Rider was Friday nights on NBC. And it came on, I think 9 o'clock out here. And I'd watch it. You know, my siblings and my mom and dad would watch it, and I'd be in the living room, you know, eating some food, you know, watching TV, and they actually bring you back to a place where things were a lot more simple. Family was more together, and it initiated good habits in the household. And when you say so things are missing, those together moments are missing. Those moments are missing. You know, Miami Vice was another show that came on, and my dad loved Miami Vice. I could say I've seen every episode, you know. In the heat of the night, my mother loved that, and I sat there, used to watch it with her. So, you know, those were the good habits, because not only those were good shows, but those were shows with great writing, thrillers, suspense, action, and it takes you to a positive place in your mind. And when you say things like that are missing, it's deeper than just the programming. The programming meant something. It's like that with the music. The music, you know, any song that a guy like Al Green sang, when you listen to the lyrics, there was substance. I'm telling you, you don't have that today. There's no substance with anything, you know. So this is actually what the show is really about, you know. So when you talk about this, and you know, we was on the phone yesterday, you know, it's easy to talk about a MCU or DC, like the superhero stuff and all of that stuff, you know. Those are easy, but when I was sitting here thinking about it, I said, you know, a series or a character that comes to mind, and we'll talk about it in a minute, you know, it brings us to a place where it's like, wow, you know, this actually was good. It's actually damn good, you know. But there's no substance today. There's no substance, and I don't know what these kids are going to look back and reminisce 2 decades from now, hopefully when they grow up and grow out of whatever mentality they're in. I don't know whether they're going to say, oh, this was classic to me. It's like, but this was like,
yeah, because they don't even, everything is trendy,
yeah.
Fast food society, fast feed society, feed of information, just enough to run past you, but nothing to absorb. That's
right.
why the lack of sensory, the lack of emotion, and for lack of a better term, what Bruce Lee once said in that movie Enter the Dragon, when he was teaching that young student, emotional content. It's like we don't have that with young people today, which is why they are oversensitive to certain things, especially when it's something that's requiring them to sit still a minute and take something in. Oh, it makes them uncomfortable.
Yeah. The attention span is horrible. Like, there's been a few times I've gone to the movie and I see a light out my peripheral vision, and a young person to my left or to my right has to be on their phone on social media. And it's enough for me to see. I say, why are they on their Instagram right now? There's a whole movie playing.
And driving down the street, anything and everything that they're doing, walking down the street. People just can't get off of those devices, man.
It's the microwave society. It's a micro. They want it now. And then when they get what you pay for a movie, and for 2 hours or so, you can't keep your phone in your pocket. I mean, to the point where it's on a movie screen, turn your phone off. I mean, these things should be second nature. You know,
now you got a brother that is closer to my age.
Yeah.
And I want to ask you, do you remember when we used to have like the ID wallets, but they would come with a phone book in it?
Yeah, I remember those.
Yeah.
I never had, but I remember those.
Right, because see, your brother was a little older, so he might have had one, right?
Right. Yeah, more than likely he did. I remember them though.
Yeah, but the point I want to make about it is, here in the Chi, we used to have guys that used to get on the rapid transit vehicles, the train, you know, the L train, subway, and they'd be hawking stuff like Hustle Man on Martin.
Yeah, Hustle Man, yeah.
They get on
Luke and Letty on Good Times.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, exactly. And they be hawking stuff like tube socks, uh, uh, barrettes for girls and just different stuff. Dudes be selling. It's they hustle, right?
Mhm.
But then we had this one dude, and I remember him for a few years. He was on the train, always selling, and he must have made good money on it because I got ID wallets with a phone book in it. That's what he would say. And he'd be selling them. He have different color wallets and stuff. And the point was, you buy one of those. It was just a couple bucks or whatever money was currency at that time. You get one, and when you put your phone numbers in that book, you knew all those phone numbers by heart.
Yeah.
You knew them by heart. Because you put them in there and you study it and you memorize them and be like, okay, I'm gonna call Don, I'm gonna call Joe, I'm gonna call, and it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like you would memorize the numbers, not just your work numbers, not just your family numbers, including those, but particularly those who you frequently called. And that was brain activity because you process so much of that, you download it and you got it. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's something you had to sit there and think for a minute, what's so and so number? Because you ain't got your book with you.
Yeah.
You can go back and remember. Like I can remember the phone number that I first learned as a child for home. I still know that phone number in my brain. I still got that phone number. And that just shows how, absorbing the muscle memory can be when you open up to receive certain type of information that's pertinent. But not to get off of what we're talking about, having favorite movie series, they usually become favorites due to certain elements in them, right? It's like it could be a character, it could be a way that circumstances play out. If it happens to be something of a thrilling nature or something, it could be like, oh, I didn't see that coming. How did I miss those keys? So it's something that draws you in. So that's why, to talk about this particular subject is pretty cool because it'll make you think sometimes. And the more that you think, you might even realize that what I thought was a favorite really isn't because there's something else that I might have overlooked and said, oh, this is really a favorite over here.
Right.
That kind of thing.
Man, so many things. The reason why we do this show is actually not for the youth, I guess. And I don't say that in a disrespectful manner. Now they all youth that I always like to see the younger cats that say, hey man, what's this series about? And it'd be like something that I came up watching in the 80s. What's that series about? I caught a couple of episodes on YouTube. I think that's funny. And I refer them to different things and things of that nature. But for the most part, this show every Monday is really not for them.
Yeah.
It's for us. It's for us, because these are things we grew up with. And the conversation is over their head because when you live in a microwave society, that means you have things now. That means your attention span is low. So you don't remember certain things because you didn't take time to enjoy it. It's like it's the difference between a microwaved meal and a meal that a professional chef, not even professional chef. I'll give you a better example of that. I mean, basically, if you grew up with your folks in the crib, your moms or your pops made a meal and it took them at least a couple of hours. You got to cook the vegetables perfectly. You got to cook your protein and your carb, and then when it's on the plate, you might not like it as a kid, but then when you get older, you tend to miss it. You get a little older, life is moving at 100 miles an hour. You have that microwave dinner, or you're always eating on the run, and it's not the best in the world. And then you sit down and like you go visit your parents. You're like, oh man, I remember you used to cook the chicken like that. I remember is that the pot roast that we used to have the rice and the vegetables? Oh, let me get some of that. And you miss it. I don't even think these kids have their favorite home cooked meal nowadays. You know what I'm talking about? And you know what, Stormy? We need to do a show about that. Favorite home cooked meals.
Ooh, Charlie.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of those things. And I'm gonna tell you, as a kid, there were certain things that I didn't like. I'm like, oh my God, we eating that tonight. And then when I got older,
You
I go to
loved
my mom's house, like, yeah, you got some of that, I smell it. I kind of smell it. She's like, oh yeah, go on in the fridge and go heat it up. But
when I was young, coming up, I didn't really, I would eat them, but I didn't like greens and broccoli, spinach. I didn't really like them. I would eat them because parents say you better clean that plate, but I get a fit now if I don't get me some greens.
Thank you.
I
don't know what it is.
Kind of irritated, you know what I'm saying?
Bro, I don't know what it is. When I was a kid, I hated collard greens. It tasted funny to me. But when I got older, when we have the family functions, it don't even have to be, Thanksgiving or nothing. When I smell them, put it on my plate. Put it on my plate. I can't stop eating it, man. I love me some collards, and sometimes she'd mix it with some mustard greens, and I'm like, oh boy, gotta have it now.
And guess what now, man? I make a mean pot of greens now.
Greens, yeah. Gotta have it, man. Gotta have it.
But this is, again, the show serves a great purpose. It's a point of reference for people who, in their day-to-day lives, they've gotten away from something to be grounded or make them feel grounded. That's the purpose of this show. Yeah. And I'm very proud of that, having been able to bring that. If we were operating under circumstances where it was allowed to, go out into the universe in the proper manner, there would be so many who would, align themselves and be like, I feel you, But of course, this is not what that is. So, and that's why we do put ourselves in a position to do something about that. Before I go any further with what I'm saying, I want to acknowledge the brother EJ out there in the Rumble Rant, where he says, phenomenal topic for Noids on Cultures. Some of my favorite series is John Wick, Friday, Spider-Man, X-Men, Batman, Superman, to name a few. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. We at heavyweight. Yes, sir.
Heavyweight.
EJ.
No, EJ. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, and he also is back with a second Rumble Rant. He says, Drew and Stormy B, man, y'all making me hungry. Yeah, man.
Yeah, boy. Yeah.
But we've given them pretty much about 30 minutes of this time here. So what I like to suggest is that for those of you all who haven't done it yet, we like to make a suggestion that you do follow. Click on that link. It's been pinned to the top of the chat. And follow us on over to Rumble, where we're going to get down to the nitty and the gritty of tonight's subject matter. So we're about to shut this down here and get prepared for that. So for those who are waiting for the transition, grab you a quick beverage or something as we get ready to do this.
Yes, sir.